you can't really you can't read the book and adjust and actually remain the same. You can't. I don't think so. The book is just so mind elevating. It's just mind opening. It opened me up. Even when I read it as a teenager, it opened me up to a new set of reality. It opened me up to some possibilities. It opened my mind. And that even though I didn't understand everything that was written in the book as at then, I knew that the book was something else. And then when I read it again last year, I bought it and I read it last year, something happened within me. So the book is what we're going to be talking about tonight. This month that I read it again for this review session, it's just as powerful as it has always been. So it was talking about the 13 laws. The 13 laws. And it told lots of stories. It told lots of stories. Stories of burning desire, stories of persistence, stories of the power of decision, stories of organized planning, stories of imagination, stories of specialized knowledge. All these things are the laws that we need to apply to get a certain result that we need. So when he talks about thoughts are things, the part that he shared the story of okay, I think the network really got back. So when he told the story of Edwin Siboney's, of how he had this burning desire, he just had thoughts within him, backed up with a very strong desire to work with Thomas Edison. He didn't have the knowledge, that he didn't have the money, he lacked so many things. He had so many disadvantages. But then he had that burning desire that this is the result that he needs. He went ahead to do most of the things that he needed to do. And in the years that followed, he was in that position that he had the when he first stepped into the office of Thomas Edison. That burning desire, was one major move that he needed. And then he added it to all other laws that the book explained. He had faith in himself, in his abilities, in his vision, that this is what he wants. And then he burnt every other bridges. He burnt every bridge, anything that could take him back to impossibilities. So when he first stepped into the office, all he had was dreams. All he had was that burning desire. All he had was just dreams, added with faith, persistence. Much of that burning desire that he had within him, that this is the result that he got, that he has come to work with Thomas Edison and not for him. That thought impulse, it pushed him to do everything that he needed to do to get to that level that he needed to be in. So then he talked about when I read the story, the part where that miner stopped 3 feet from gold, I was just imagining what I think that place, yes, that place was talking about persistence. And when I read that story, that part where that miner stopped 3 feet from gold, I was just imagining how he must have felt when the other man that he sold the machine, the drilling machine to, later found out about the gold and made millions of dollars from it. I was just imagining the kind of pain, the kind of hurt that he must have, like, that he must have gone through, like the level of the regret he must have gone through. Just knowing that he suffered. He even borrowed money to buy the instrument that they used for the work that they did there. And then he couldn't persist. And even talking about persistence, because he was saying that you are just that you are a failure. And he said that every failure is just a temporary defeat. Like you're just temporarily defeated. It's not permanent. You're just temporarily defeated. And you should go ahead and keep trying again. But then I wondered, how can you differentiate when you are temporarily defeated and when you are doing something that you shouldn't be doing in the first place? Maybe someone that doesn't know much about a certain thing, someone that doesn't know much about a certain thing, or someone that like they are doing. So how can you differentiate it? And then I go to that part where he said that they should get mentorship comes in. Seeking direction, seeking knowledge from those that know more than you. These are some of the things, like the way everything was connecting is just so beautiful. So I want to hear, this is just one part of the thing that I got or that I learned or that just stood out for me. So I want to hear from us before I continue again. Like just talk to us. Anybody can get on with talking to us or sharing with us what they learned from the book. We're talking about the book for now. So anyone can just unmute their mics and then talk to us what they call from the book or a part in particular that's, that's kind of shed a light to them or kind of open them up to to a possibility or did anything at all to them.
Hello,
So
good
we
evening.
want to hear from us. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Ben. Welcome. Please go ahead
Thank
and
you.
mm,
Okay, I just joined now, and I think if I got the discussion right, we are talking about the book, right?
yes, we're talking about the book.
Okay, the book was actually I've been hearing about the book, but never made out time to read it. And I'm so thankful that we were able to share the PDF and the audio version of the book. That was what helped me cover up the book because before now I used to scare books in 200 numbers. Okay, so from the book, it's actually emphasized the fact that all great invention and everything starts with the idea. And
Yeah,
then, yeah, that it may not look like it's appearing or becoming or it's real, but with consistency, if we can keep the idea fresh in our mind and then deal away with every barrier and limitation because actually in life, there is no real barrier or limitation other than the one that we set to ourselves.
yeah,
Because at least he spoiled me by with his faith alone that his deaf child could still speak, and yet he kept in cultivating in that child, and that child let us speak and even did more than some children who were good.
and help others that are in the same predicament. Yeah,
Yes, or even those who were even better off than him, so to say. He
yeah,
because not the opportunity he gained and the leverage he leveraged, he gave him an opportunity, and as well because of the impact of his father already and his belief, he inculcated that in him, which helped him as well to be able to overlook that present challenge and was desirous to engage in in activities like his other brother. And then one other thing is that yeah, faith is very important. And then we must build our mind, that's our auto suggestion and the subconscious mind, because they rule everything. From the book, I learned that riches is shy, but poverty is very bold. So for us to attract riches, we have to actually beckon on it and actually like do everything possible to get it to attract it. But poverty, you don't even need to work for it, and it will just creep in on you, and then you remain there. So the book is an awesome one. It's very very rich. Although I wasn't able to go through it again, but I'll try to find time to go through again to assimilate everything there because it's worthwhile. I've been hearing of the book, but never had the time to read it because before now, books numbering 200 and I used to scare them. But with the audio notes, I was able to go through the book. That's the much I can say for now.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. That's
Thank
really beautiful. At least from the part that you read, you really grabbed something beautiful from it.
you.
So yeah,
Every
because you were saying that the the only failure, I mean, the only limitation that we have is the one that we have accepted, that we have set our mind or our hearts to, the level
yes.
that we can get, the amount of money that we can get day, like any certain level, whatever it is that will keep our mind at, that's what the world, the
The
earth
money,
is going
the money.
about.
Okay, the book also revealed that money is not the problem. It has always been the issue of our mind. Are we ready to play the number games? Are we ready
Yeah,
to reconcile, as in to that, to build our mind to be able to carry that number? Because
yeah,
even if you have the number, even if you have the money in that number, because your mind is not yet programmed to accept it and to work with it, you can easily lose it off because your mind is not set to it. So it's
yeah.
all about rebuilding our subconscious mind to figures and keeping the big picture in view, even while starting small with the idea.
That's very true. Because in that part of persistence, I was saying if only we can insist on getting what we want out of life, we should be the one to. expect from life what we want. We should be the one to insist in getting a particular thing that we want. It shouldn't be life throwing anything that it's what it shouldn't be like
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that reminds me. Let me even throw something
we
again
should be
here.
the one to insist and get what we want.
We have to demand for it.
Yes, exactly.
Like you have your money and you want to buy something and they are giving you something else. You insist on what you want. All right.
It's exactly.
One other thing I picked from here is that yes, they say knowledge is power, but it's emphasized that it is a potential power. It would only become power when we put it to work. And again,
Exactly.
it's Henry Ford made it clear when being that in that case when he was sued to court, and then the lawyer was asking him a general question on general knowledge. He was like, "Why do I need the general
But
knowledge when I
they're
have other
expecting
things
him to
to
fail.
do?"
They're expecting that he doesn't know stuff like that.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's as in life, and I learned that yes, they said knowledge is important. Knowledge is important, but then we have to be specific in what terms of knowledge we want and go for such
Yeah,
knowledge. We don't have to gather all
that's true.
knowledge
Because
and then
you really
go
can't dominate the world with general knowledge. You have to be specific. You have to have a specialized knowledge in
identify the
one particular
knowledge we
thing.
need. Yes, ability to identify the knowledge we need sets us, gives us an edge. And then when we identify that, we can go for it no matter what it costs, and then get the knowledge for what we need it for. And
Exactly.
also, I title of masterminds because it was there he talked about his masterminds. Yes, that Henry Ford may not have he may not have the general knowledge, but why should he bother himself when he has a
When
good
he has
team,
people that can
a good team of
answer that
masterminds?
question very well, that can give a perfect answer, that can give a solution to that thing. So
Yes,
yeah, exactly. He doesn't need to bother himself. He just have the people. He just have the mastermind. That's a
yes,
solution to all those things.
yes. You get what I'm saying? That's it. So
And that answer
it's
that you get them even through them off balance.
of course, of course, of course now, because when he's busy trying to invent something, and you can see the impact it's created in the world and even in his own life till today. Though he's dead, but his legacy still lives on, and even to the next
Exactly.
generation. You can talk about business
Exactly.
and history and everything, and invade him. And the book also
And you're
talked
not
about
expecting
burning
him to
bridges.
know other things about the world.
Yeah, the book also talked about burning bridges. Sometimes we get into
Mm.
something and we have plan B. If it doesn't work,
Yeah.
let's do it. We'll do it that way. But if we really want to focus and achieve and get the desired goal, we have to burn all the bridges
Yeah. But
so we
anyways,
can
in
be
that
able to.
situation, eh, in that aspect, it depends. It really depends on the situation that's in play. Because it's not everything that you're doing, or let's say every activity or everything, everything at all. Let's just call it everything that you're doing that you have to burn out the bridges. Anyways, that's where wisdom, understanding comes in. You knowing the type of thing that you need to burn all the bridges, and then knowing the aspects or the parts that you need to have a plan B in case this one fails. Anyways, I guess it's wisdom that will guide in aspects, in parts like that. The story of that little girl, still talking about persistence and kind of getting what we want out of life. The story of that little girl describes it perfectly. The little girl that
Which
came
is
to him in the
okay, the
warehouse and
workshop,
said
right?
that her mom asked her to get some money from him.
The 50, the
He
50
said
cents.
he shouted at the girl to leave. She said, yes, I still remain there. When he told the girl that he saw her, like he was furious and he was moving towards her in rage, maybe to beat her or something. But she was still there, persistent, and even
Really, it's really mind storming,
talked back at
standing
him
even.
that her mom asked her to get this money. And you know what happened? He gave her the money. That's exactly the point. The girl
Oh
might not
yeah, yeah,
understand what she was doing there. The girl might not understand what she was doing there or what she did. Or she might not even understand what motivated
happy,
her
what
to
transpired.
go and do what she did that day. Then both of them that were in the warehouse, those adults that were there that day, they learned some incredible lessons
Sure,
from what
sure,
they
sure. Okay, what will you say about the person that other man? Was it that one that that was mining gold, and at a point when he stopped 3 miles away
wrote.
the gold because he failed to consult
Yes,
because he failed to
exactly.
consult the gold the consultants in the experts in mining.
Yes. That was the terrible mistake that he did. He didn't consult an expert, someone that knows better than him in that area before giving up. That was
Yeah,
it. Then he gave up. He gave up along the way. But then if he had consulted someone, maybe a mentor, a coach, as we call it today, or someone that
yeah.
an expert in that field, that it wouldn't have ended like that. So like when I read that part, I was just wondering within me, like how he would be feeling after the man he sold those machines that they used in the training. After he went back to discover all the good, everything that he suffered for all this while. Ha! I
And
could only
it's even
imagine
painful
what it
because
was. Because
like,
the pain, the regret will be out of this world.
yeah, sure, sure, sure. It would be great. Moreover, the good thing is that he learned his lesson from it because
Yes. And then
he learned
use that energy in the next business that he embarked on.
exactly that a no is not always a no, but it's just an attempt to consider and come back.
Mm.
So the book is great.
Then
What would you? Well, I just don't know which part to talk about and emphasize more. He really dealt much. And the project, even him himself, when he was writing the book, I remember he started the book at a very young age, and it took him 20 years for him to have born that desire and kept on focusing on it even while he was dealing with other things. Because sometimes
mm,
distractions came and then he would want to drop the book. Again, he would recover and continue again. So it wasn't even easy for him writing the book for over
yeah,
20 years
it wasn't.
and trying to gather the success principles from different people and persons, traveling for it. So it's really a mind blowing and resetting book because this is not about having the money, but then having the mindset to have it when it comes.
It's really is. There is the parts he talked about specialized knowledge. He was saying that you can't dominate an industry or a niche with
Yeah,
general knowledge. You have to be specific. You have to specialize. And then I thought
yeah.
about multi-potential people that don't believe that they can do only one thing, or they don't feel okay, or they don't feel fulfilled, or like they are not just okay with doing just one thing. Like they want to try, even if something they are working at or they are working with is successful, they want to still do other things and be very good, extremely good at those things. So I was thinking about
It's
those people. But then what the answer I gave to myself was that those people can have one major thing, something, one thing that they
yeah,
can measure in, and then build that thing, whether business or anything, build it very successfully. and then they can do other things. They can do all other things every other day, but they should be known or majorly known for one thing.
The main thing
And
is
then they
that
should be able
coming
to,
to that aspect, it's just that the fact what I see there is that you can get different specialized knowledge, but it will be very difficult to gather those specialized knowledge at the same time. In the sense that even if they want to have those specialized knowledge, it will take them different intervals. Let's say you want to do something, you have to start up with, let's say you want to do law, you have to go through law before you go for medicine again. You cannot be doing the law and doing the medicine and expect to be exceptional or to be very good in that. Because for
yeah.
you to give it will need your attention, your consecration, and your commitment. So it's possible, but the fact is just that it cannot be done simultaneously.
Mm.
So it will have to be done at different intervals. So it's just knowing yourself and planning towards it to give it a balance. That's what I see
Yeah,
from.
yeah, that's a great idea. I do. Because most times they just believe that they can't do only one thing, maybe for a long period of time, or they are not meant to do one thing. They can be jack of all trade and be master at all of them. So, but they can actually maybe take it one step at a time and then
Yes.
also be good in all of those things.
Yeah, yes, yes. One step at a time, giving each one the required consecration and time and everything and every effort. Then once they are done with it, they can, but they cannot do more than two and still remain that very good in them
Yeah.
because the more you keep gathering knowledge, you lose the one you already had because you're not practicing or improving on that one. So that's where it will
Yes,
be very
exactly.
difficult for them to be very exceptional. But if it is like about having
Mm.
two, one or two, three specialized knowledge and they are practicing and regular in those things, then they can be very exceptional with that. But they cannot gather the specialized knowledge simultaneously and still maintain those things at the same time. That's one
Yes,
thing I
exactly.
see.
Exactly. And then he spoke about organized plan. I think that's
Yeah,
where many people that believe that knowledge is power. Maybe one of the
yeah,
places that they are getting it wrong. Because yes,
yeah,
we all know that knowledge is power, but personally I know and I believe that knowledge is just potential power. It is not
yeah,
power until you can use it, maybe to solve
yes,
a problem,
yes,
or maybe to use it for anything, or use it for the purpose. It cannot be power until it has served the purpose for which it
exactly.
exists.
And
So
that's
you
where
just knowing something.
Exactly. That's where we fail in our society and in our education system because
Yeah,
they just give us knowledge, basically general knowledge and a few specific, specialized knowledge. But then
yeah,
we fail to realize how they can use that knowledge to serve the society, which makes it power.
that's
But
one
with
of the
this,
problems. They want you
but,
to know
but
to know the thing. They want you to have the knowledge, but they don't teach you or they don't guide or train you on how to
yeah,
use
how
that knowledge.
to exactly. So it boils down to organizing and planning as in putting what you know to work. Because as well, who was that? There was this other man he talked about that had a dream for two. Okay, that wrote this other pastor that wrote for 2 years what he would do with $1 million for 2 years. He memorized the dream and kept talking and discussing about how to share.
ihe ọ na-achọ bụ ihe ọ
But in the
ga-ebugozi
first of the
aka
deadline,
mgbe m chetara na otu ọ bụ na ọ blọkgo m ya na-asị anya m
hello,
ọgụ pastọt nso ụtụtụ
Yeah, I
okay,
can hear you.
okay. It also talked about the man giving ourselves a deadline, like a timeline for to get
Yes,
something,
yes, yes.
to get things done. Because you see, I saw the effect in that man who had the vision of who wrote down what he would do with. $1 million,
Mm,
that pastor. And for 2 years, he had that
yes,
idea
yes.
and desire in his mind until he gave himself
But when
a
he
week
made a plan and then gave it a specific time to achieve that plan,
and
he
gave
got the
himself a
reward at the
specific
end.
time. The astonishing thing is that he went to service that day and forgot his jotter that he
And
had
forgot
written it
it.
on.
Yes.
You can imagine.
But then he said that that thing that happened is one of the best thing that happened to him, because when he
And
mounted the stage, he now started flowing from within him. Like he didn't have to depend on what he has written. He was just
exactly because
flowing like his
he,
life depended on it.
he had internalized it for 2 years and made plans for it. And then it was just flowing out of him. And I think that also facilitated and helped him to get the money under before 42, 48 hours. He got the money
Exactly.
between 32 or 34 hours. And that was how he established the firm that even outlived his life.
And all these things came because of all the many things that he put into play. He had the desire to get the money. He organized he
He
organized
started
it.
with a thought. He started
He
with a thought.
organized his plan to get the money. He had faith that he would get the money. He put a timeline to it, to getting it,
Yeah,
and then he went to work. Exactly all these laws, he put them into practice. And then the result was very astonishing. And then
very,
Napoleon
very.
was telling us that that these laws, these powers, they are still in existence. They are still around to work for us. We can use it. If only we can apply these laws. They are still available to us. The dreamers of today can
Yeah,
fare better. And I strongly
sure.
believe that
I
the
believe so.
the dreamers of today, we can really, really fare better. And
That's it.
then in the next few chapters, he talked about the causes of failure. He detailed each one of them, detailed each one of the
Yeah,
causes of failure,
okay, yes,
described
he
them.
also talked about that. He listed a lot of things. A lot of things. He even had to the extent that he had to say, one of the things that he made mention there was that even as in one's life partner should be among their masterminds because they determine
Yes.
their rise and fall a lot in a great
That one
way.
is very important, I beg. It's not negotiable.
As in very important.
It's not
It's very
negotiable.
important. And even
Because
even
who
even
you marry has the power to make or to buy you.
hmm, that's great too. Hmm. But before now, it was just like a religious thing, though. It was just like a religious teaching. But the book also as in gave reasons why it should be. And looking at our society, we even see that when people do that, the top people in the society have their wives as their masterminds because they discuss a lot of things with them before they come out to meet the other masterminds and they rub minds together.
Of course, and when they are making the decision of who they will marry, they are very, very intentional. Sometimes they are not even emotional about it. They are very intentional. Like they are really, really intentional towards that decision. They don't just move with nowadays. I don't think many of those great men and women, they are no longer after they don't just make the decision based on emotion alone or based on what they
Yeah,
can see.
that reminds me another thing. He meant something there that emotions ruin. He said something about emotions that emotions are good, but they shouldn't be brought into business decision making because it
Exactly.
could it could ruin. Emotion can ruin everything, the whole thing, even the whole knowledge the emotion will turn it and it will look like you knew nothing about it. So emotion should be set aside and kept aside when strictly in business and it shouldn't interfere.
it shouldn't interfere, even if
No,
it's a
no, I
business
want to
being
press
run,
on
it's a
emotion.
business being run by a husband and wife. When it gets to business, it should be strictly business. No emotion
Yeah,
should be attached. When you guys are done, when you go home, you can now start doing all the emotional, mushy stuff. But when it's
yeah, yeah.
business, in the boardroom, treat the boardroom as the boardroom, treat the business as business, no matter who the person is. So when it's
Sure.
time to get emotionally attached, it's wisdom that should guide everyone. Every
Exactly.
individual that is very intentional about themselves, about their future, about where they're going or what they are building. It's wisdom, it's understanding that will guide them to make that type of decision. And then the type of person that you marry also, because if it's someone that doesn't understand, the person will misinterpret it. The person will misinterpret it that you're disrespecting them, that you are ignoring them, that you are doing them this one and that one. But if it's someone
That's
that has the same understanding as you, they will know that business is business. When we are out of
sure.
business, when we are out of the boardroom, when we are
Yeah,
when we are out of these very important topics and matters, we can now do every emotional kineko that
yeah,
we want to do.
yeah.
So
That's why it's
all
a
this
very critical matter and a sensitive decision.
it is so that's part of of life partner. Then it's very important.
Hmm,
Okay,
that's great.
um, we're going to talk about the movie briefly, and then let's talk about the movie briefly. The movie, The Apprentice. The Apprentice, The Apprentice, The Apprentice. I learned so
Yeah.
much from I learned
Huh?
so much. I learned
Okay,
so
were you
much
able to
from the
finish?
movie. So
Okay, were you able to finish it through? Hello, are you there?
not quite, but the
Okay,
parts that yes, I can hear you now.
okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Do I continue?
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The man. Okay, we are back. I think the network was pretty bad. So the man
Yes,
building shop, and he did an awesome work, and the lady and the man that was his eyes and his ears that were advising him, they did an awesome job too in advising him without partiality or anything. They all did their best.
yes,
Talking about all the
yes,
participants of the business. When they arrived,
yes.
the first task that they were doing is to work as a team and build something. They were given a project to build. Like they just
No,
got
no,
there
yeah, they just asked them to build. There was no team yet.
and they
They just
haven't
did
they
that
haven't
without,
even met themselves. Like they know each
yes,
other very well.
yes, it
They,
was in the course of doing that they now
because
began
like
to
they
learn.
haven't had the time. Yes, they haven't had the time to maybe kind of familiarize better with each other, trying to know each
Yes,
other, trying to know maybe strengths and their weaknesses. Like they're just giving. Yeah, I guess that was to test their their experience, each of them, to test their experience, maybe to test their leadership experience or test their ability to work in a team.
people,
Because there
yeah.
was a training I was going through. It was talking about teamwork, and he was saying, the facilitator was saying when you write in your CV that you have the ability to work in a team or to work with a team, maybe when you get to the venue of the interview, the the interviewers, they might leave you and every other person that came for the interview, maybe in a room. They won't tell you guys anything. They will just leave you there. What they are expecting you to do is to kind of connect with every other person that is in that room, not just for you to sit where you are. Because you've written in your CV that you have the ability to work in a team. So why are you sitting idly? Why are you just being preserved? Why are you just staying on your own? You should go ahead to try to
Yes,
make a
she
team.
was
Just try to work with people. Just try to connect with people.
that's a
And then
conversation
they are that single thing they are doing, they are just testing your ability to work in a team.
with people.
But then you might have failed the interview because you don't have the ability to kind of connect with people or to be the first to start up a conversation or start speaking with people and all of those things. So they were testing their ability to work a team. Like they just arrived and they haven't known each other well, they haven't familiarized with each other, and they were asked to work together to build something. And I guess in that first project they had some fallouts because some people were being commanding or trying to be the leader as, you know, unappointed leader
Yes,
or something.
thank you, the
Press
authoritative
kind of
and direct.
done. So all those things, they saw it and they knew it was one of the reasons or part of the reason why why they gave them that first task. So, and then they were divided into two groups. They were divided into two groups, the male group and then the female group, the matrix group and the matrix team and the zero team. So the next one, they were asked to sell a product. This is a product. We told them, this is the product, sell it for me. Matrix group, this is the product that you're going to sell. Zero group, this is the product that you're going to sell. They went into work. Now they have a leader within them. Each of the teams have a leader. They went into work after everything, because after everything, they got back for vetting. And then the three ladies that were called into the boardroom for a series of questionings and vetting, one of them was busy giving excuses. She was asked, did you sell this product? She said no. And then she started defending herself, saying she was the cheerleader, saying why she didn't sell the product or why she couldn't sell the product. She was giving series of excuses. She was giving reasons why she didn't do that thing. And then Biodun was telling her, he was like, your reason might be valid, but then you can't run a business. You can't run a business without making profits. No matter how reasonable, no matter how valid your excuse is, you really can't. And it's very true. You can't run a business without making profits. If you keep your excuse might be valid. It's something that she was saying, this is not part of her responsibility, that she was supposed to be the cheerleader of the group, but all of you were asked to sell a product. So why didn't you sell? Maybe she didn't have the capacity or the ability to be a salesman or to sell something, or it was pretty difficult for her to sell. But then whatever reason it is that she had, she actually didn't have any strong reason not to make profit from a business, because the main purpose, the main goal of that business is to make profit. And that profit and that business can't exist. It won't run. You can't run a business without making profit from it. So all those excuses that she gave, at the end, I think she was the one that was fired. And then their leader, the other lady, was accusing her of not being able to lead very well. Like she was stating out all her shortcomings, all her faults, all the things that she did wrongly. But I think she tried in her leadership abilities, because obviously it's not easy to be a leader, and she did her best. But I guess her best wasn't enough to get them to sell more. So all these things, all these things are all part of the difficulties, all part of the challenges that comes with running a business. So it wasn't really easy for them, but most of them, some of them scaled through into the next stages, to the next levels. So just share with us maybe anything or any point from the movie, that's the parts that you watched, anything at all that stood out for you, or that you are particularly concerned about, or anything. Mr. Fidelis, are you still here with us? Mr. Iben, are you here with us? Can you hear me, Mr. Iben?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, the movie as well is another thing on its own, because but it's it was a long one, so I couldn't finish. But from the part I watched, at least it made it clear that from the first lesson, like you had already pointed out, that business, you cannot run a business without profit.
Mm.
Are you there?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, I'm right there
So
with
it
you.
made it clear that okay, it made it clear that business is all about profit. That if not, it would be there will be no difference from a business and a charity organization. So that's one. And like you rightly pointed out, ability to work in a team, it's it gives one an edge over those who work alone.
Mm.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. And one other crucial thing, if there's nothing else I picked from the movie, is that everything rises and falls based on leadership, based on leadership and their policies.
Yeah.
Because the the that's the metrics team, metrics corporation. They kept on losing. They kept on losing until the third time when Blessing was given the leadership, because she has always been in the among those to go to the panel, and then she changed the game for the metrics team, because
Mm.
probably she had that leadership ability, and she has also always been identifying that. And each time she speak it up, the others may not understand what she's trying to say, but criticize her.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another thing I learned there is from the male part, they have always been cooperating among themselves. And uh, one funny thing is being dynamic. That's
Mm,
not being so rigid. Because even when they sent out one of them to join the metric school, they were very dynamic to accept the other person and still work with her, not minding the fact that she was a female. They
mm,
worked and accommodated her. That also helped them to. They didn't lead the work on her like, okay, you're the team leader. All right, take the lead of everything. No, they joined hands. They've always learned to join hands together, and they did their best. And one good thing I learned was it when they, after they had did the project on trying to, what was that they did? Marketing, writing a vision statement and marketing for an a short and an advert video for Sahara Desert, for Sahara group of company.
mm,
The three men from Zulu Corporation that went to the panel and the one that was sacked, it was rightly pointed out to him that he has been in the team but has not been voicing his ideas. So he has just been like a passive member in the team. So and that was his reason for being fired. Because had it been he raised up his objection then, though the leader may not have listened, but it would have been a different thing that he raised up his objection and then it was ignored. He raised up his objection with a better idea and it was ignored because it's one thing to criticize and it's another thing to proffer solution to it. Otherwise, everybody will become a critic. Then, it also made it clear that in advertising, because they did they did some work, about three works now on advertising. The first was I may not be able to call it in the order, but one was the one they did for the first they did for Bank PHC Bank PH Bank PHCN was it Bank PHCN or PHBN? So that was the first, and the other was the one they had to do for their own E3 E3 stands in Chicken Republic store. Are you with
mm.
me?
Yeah, I'm
And
with you.
another one. So it's and another for the Sahara group. Now it made it clear that it has to be you have to identify your offer and then your your target group, your target group of audience.
Mm-hmm.
And when you identify your target group, it helps you know how to bring in humor or how to eliminate it and how to address your your group of people because for the Zulu group, the Zulu Corporation failed them in the advert they did for Sahara Group because they were trying to market their product to was it technical people, the technical team of technical people in oil industry. But then their mode of communication to them was just like the layman communicating to a layman who doesn't know what he wants. But these people they know what they want already. It's just to tell them that we have this offer. So that was why they used it. So it made it clear that we have to know how to communicate. We have to be able to identify our target audience and know how to communicate to them because if we don't communicate to them, yes, we may have them even around us and they see what we have, but they may not be able to understand the message and to buy
Mm.
and
Yeah.
to patronize them. So we lose them and then our market becomes invalid. Um, Another thing is that mm, that'll be all for now. That'll be all for now.
Okay. Yeah, that was a few. for some contribution. Yeah. So they all tried their best.
Sorry, wait. Let me say something again. I
Okay.
don't know which team it was, but one of the time when some group of persons that went to the panel, to the boardroom, that went into the boardroom, when they were making their case, one of them was trying to appeal to the master. That I've forgotten that his name again.
Building somebody.
To yes, Abiodun. One of them was trying to to justify, or let's say appeal his case emotionally, to justify his case emotionally. But then he made it clear to him that you don't, this is strictly business. You don't appeal as in, or talk to me directly and not make it emotional or sentimental about it. So it also made it clear
Mm,
that emotion has to be clear and are set aside in in business. It has nothing to do with business. Otherwise, it will ruin judgment
mm,
and reasoning.
yeah.
That's one thing I just that I want to say.
Yeah. Okay. That's a beautiful contribution. Thank you so much. You have made our gathering tonight worthwhile. I appreciate you so much. At least I I've gained something from all you shared, both from the book and then from the movie. Have exchanged ideas, exchanged understanding. We have brought minds together. So thank you so much for coming to join tonight's review session. I think at this point we'll call it a night. Tomorrow,
Please, can I say one thing before we close, please?
okay, yes, please go ahead.
Um, I have been active all through, even when you were, because my mic was muted. I was hearing everything, but when I now came to respond to the time you were calling, I don't know what happened. I was looking for my mic. I don't even know where it went to again. So I'm sorry.
Mm,
I was following all through. I just want to
it's not a
appreciate
problem.
you and Iben. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
We
can
can
hear.
hear
We
you.
can hear.
Okay, I just want to appreciate you and Iben for this night. I don't know. I read the book long time ago, but I really did not go through it this time. And it was just sounding odd, new in my hearing as you guys were expanding on it. But from the review you guys have given, I think I need to go back to that book again. I really need to. I love the way you were expressing it, especially Iben. Iben made this review worthwhile. I didn't even stop listening. I was just paying attention all through. So I just want to say a very big thank you. Thank you, Iben. Thank you, Cynthia, for this work. They are awesome. I wish next month we'll have a better one and better audience. Many people will join. And then by then I'll also be ready to air my own opinion and reviews about the next book. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you so very
Yeah,
much. We
thank
really
you.
do hope that the review of next month will be beautiful. It will be more than this. It will be
Really,
wonderful. It will
thank
be
thank you for
enlightening.
staying through and making us the third person and not just the
Yeah.
two of us.
We appreciate you so
Welcome.
much,
All
Fidelis.
right. Good night,
Thank you so
everyone.
much, Ben. I really do appreciate you for joining us tonight. Thank you for making the session very interactive and then very enlightening. I really do appreciate.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. My pleasure. All right.
So
Good night.
point to call it a night. Happy New Month in advance too. Tomorrow is new month. Happy New Month in advance, and I
Wow,
wish
that's great. Shout out to everyone and a happy new month.
yeah. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful night rest, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.